Hey, so I am back again, day 2, going live. I changed my setup a little bit. Um, I think this might be a little more efficient. You're a little bit farther back from me, but hopefully you can still hear me. Changed like a few things. Like I actually hooked up my little microphone this time, and obviously I totally changed the setup because I moved my Uh, sorry, I can't answer that phone call. Okay. Oh, that reminds me I was supposed to do something before I went live, but whatever. It's just an hour, so I'm just gonna continue on, and that is fine. Anyways, so I did want to touch base from yesterday's live stream. I was working on this blouse, and I planned on finishing it yesterday after the live stream, which I did work on it for quite a few hours. I kind of nerded out. I said it would probably just take me like 1 hour to finish it, but it definitely took me longer because like I said, I was like nerding out over it. So I finished like this I had already done, like the hem, but I'm just showing you like all the seams that I did were hand sewn, beautifully done. You can't see the thread underneath or above. And I did that yesterday on the sleeve hems as well. And then on the neckline, I sewed in the collar on the front and the back, and I really like it. I was going to, and I talked about this yesterday, I was going to have this part of the shirt be open so that your head could like fit into the head, the hole. I don't know what I'm saying. So that you can put the shirt on, like pull the shirt over your head without having an issue, because this fabric is not supposed to be stretchy. It is actually stretchy because I cut it on the bias, which means when you cut it on a diagonal rather than straight grain, if you know anything about sewing. But I talked about all this yesterday, but I'm just updating you that I actually, because of like how heavy this collar actually is, which I kind of discussed yesterday, because it's like it has 2 layers because it was originally a buttonhole. It has like a backing and a front fringy layer. So it's really heavy, and I need it to be connected in order to stay up. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put like little tacks like in the shoulder on at least one side, so that you can still get into it easily, but then also it stays up straight. Sorry, thinking. But what happened with this shirt, why I didn't end up finishing it, was because one, I was taking a long time just to make sure the front seams were done beautifully, and like right here, I wanted to make sure like the original stitching wasn't showing at all. So I had to like redo a couple stitches just to make sure it was really smooth all the way across. But I did something really what is the word? Risky, kind of. Like I was just being lazy. And when I was sewing it, I sew knit fabric. So definitely like when I'm sewing like a sweater material, I would use this with, I sew it with like this really loose thread. It kind of looks like, can't go that way. Let me show you really quick. So I sew it with this really loose thread. It kind of looks like the batting of like the inside of a pillow or something, but it's super duper duper stretchy, and it's so strong. Like I had to take some stitches out yesterday that I use this for because of this stupid thing that I did. And it is really hard to get out with a seam ripper. You're basically going to rip your shirt off. Like it's ridiculous. Rip your shirt off. I mean, rip your shirt in the process. But anyways, so what is it called? What am I trying to say? Oh yeah, so the problem came in that this shirt is not all stretchy. Even though this part is stretchy, I just said that, it's not meant to be stretchy. So the fabric itself isn't stretchy. It's just when it's hanging like this, the way you pull it, it's stretchy. But you shouldn't use this super duper elastic thread on it because it's a sturdy fabric. Whereas this one, we need that thread. So I have found through the process of making this shirt that if I'm sewing like 2 pieces of this knit together, obviously use this thread. If sorry, started thinking in my head while I was speaking. Use this thread for that, and also use it for like sewing this to this, because again, this is a super stretchy layer, so it's definitely good to use this thread, especially because if you don't know anything about using this thread, definitely watch a tutorial on YouTube for sewing knits with, I don't have any idea what this is called, a woolly nylon. So look up a YouTube video. I don't have any because I never post on YouTube except for right now. But look up a YouTube video on how to use woolly nylon thread because it's very specific. So the reason it works really well, even though you're using a woven with a knit, is because you only put it in the bobbin threader. So on the bobbin, you don't put it on the top. On the top, you still use a woven thread. So I just wanted to put that in there so that someone doesn't like buy this and then, mess up their whole project. But yeah, it's great. And also it's again, watch the YouTube video because if you do it correctly, like you will be able to sew knits so easily. It's incredible. But there's so many little specifics about it. Like the way that you wind the bobbin and stuff is not normal. So just definitely, again, watch a tutorial on that, but it's awesome. So anyways, what I did that was completely just lazy, straight lazy, like I knew better, is that when I had to sew this bit, which is the collar to the front woven, this was the first time, is this the first time in the whole project? Yeah, this is the first time in the project that I was sewing, except for this first seam, which the first couple seams, because the front is 3 different panels, or 4 panels actually, 4 panels. So all of those panels were woven to woven, and I did them first. So I did that with regular thread. But then once that was done, and I was sewing the back together, and I was sewing the sleeves on, and I was sewing the back to the front, those are all things that could use the woolly nylon. So when I got to this part, I didn't want to take the woolly nylon out of the bobbin because I was being super duper lazy. It literally takes 1 second. But again, lazy because I hadn't sewn this sleeve on yet. So I was like, let me just try to get the collar on. I've already sewed the back collar on. It was perfect. Let me try to get the front collar on. It's a small thing. Let's risk it. Not smart. So it just pretty much went insane and it was like sewing elastic onto a woven fabric. It gathered it all up and it was horrible. So I actually filmed that because I wasn't live anymore, but I started sewing or filming the process after I made this mistake, so that I could kind of show like the error I made and then show how I fix it. And I had the intention of posting a video of how I made this shirt because I think I filmed the beginning process of the shirt as well as live streaming yesterday. So I'm not going to work on this shirt today, finishing it. I stopped working on it after I got this far yesterday because the next step is to take out this shoulder. I know for sure that's the problem right now because I redid the seam on this side with regular thread, and now it is laying beautifully. I don't know if you can tell from that far away, but it looks fantastic in my opinion. And this side is like really bunchy and pulling, and a lot of people would just leave it, but I really want to make high quality, one of a kind upcycled pieces that could potentially sell. So I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to fix it. But it involves me taking out this stitch right here. And I came across this error, and this is probably why I was being lazy at 3 a.m. yesterday. I was working on this until 3 a.m. And from my experience, I just find you really shouldn't take things out at 3 a.m., like using a seam ripper or, in any way, like taking your garment apart at 3 a.m. It's just not a good decision. No good decisions are made at 3 a.m. So I was just like, let me just relax, go to sleep, wake up, do this. I ended up having a pretty late start because obviously I stayed up till like 4 a.m. in the morning. So that didn't happen this morning, but I will finish it hopefully tonight and then maybe tomorrow. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to finish it and then I will, I keep saying a lot and it's really annoying me right now, but I'm going to finish it and then I'm going to post a YouTube video of how I made the shirt so that you can see like the error like more specific detail, and you can see how I fixed it and you can see the difference, because I feel like if you're someone that doesn't sew a lot or like, I don't know, work with garments during the construction phase of things, or I don't know, obsess over clothes or something, I really don't think a lot of people might notice this. But to me, it's just unacceptable. So that's why I'm going to take it out and redo it. And I want to show you how it looks when it's completed 100%. But yeah, I am happy with it so far. I really, really like how the shoulder seams are turning out. It is still just raw right here on the edge. It will obviously be finished nicer than that. But yeah, I really like it. And I really like the back detail too. This isn't perfectly on the mannequin right now. So it's looking a little humpbacky, but yeah, it is really nice and I like it a lot. But we're gonna leave it in the background right now because we're not doing that. So that was kind of a long ramble about that. Sorry. I'm afraid my coffee's gonna spill. I have it on a stool, but it just doesn't seem smart. About that, but that's not what we're working on. We're still gonna sew today, just something different. I do want to sew like this week some more like upcycled pieces, maybe another blouse, but I really have a great idea for a pair of jeans that I want to do, which are super high-waisted, kind of like boyfriendy, flared jeans that you can roll up at the bottom, and I'm really excited about that idea. But today I want to do something super easy, and I kind of want to that's a totally new idea, so if you're interested in that, let me know. But as far as right now, I wanted to kind of get rid of some things that are on my to-do list, and this is something I started weeks ago and just haven't gotten around to finishing because it's really not a priority at all. But I would be so much happier if I had it done. So that's what we're going to work on. It is actually these little fuzzy stool covers. And I love this like project for right now on a live stream because I have it prepped so beautifully. Like I already have all of the covers like cut out perfect circles. And I have the, what is it called? The sides of the covers. So this is going to sew to the round part. It takes a short one and a long one to make a perfect circle. And then you sew it to the round part and then it slides over the top. So yeah, we're going to do that. And I just wanted to show you because I actually already made one. I'm like so ready right now. I already made one of these so you can see what a sample looks like. These are the stools. These are like $4 IKEA stools. So they're brilliant. But yeah, so these are the stools that I'm covering. IKEA has had them forever. And like I said, they're only $4. But they don't look that cute in my style of room. I want my room to be like a little more cozy, and they're just like plastic. So we're covering them with this. And I actually came up with this idea because I wanted to just order these online. But I looked online for them, and anything that's like decent is like really, really expensive when it comes to these stool covers. And I didn't even necessarily want fur ones. I did have that in mind, but I was open to like any type of stool cover. But they were just, it was like at least $20 per stool for a cover, which I know for a lot of people is not a lot, but multiply by 6, and that can really add up. Also, like, they weren't that good quality. Like, for a really decent one, you were getting closer to like $60. And when it came to fur, even the expensive ones just didn't look that nice. And also, it was hard to find like the round ones. Like, a lot of them I was finding were for like office chairs and stuff. So since I couldn't find what exactly I wanted, because I didn't want like a fluorescent pink cover, I wanted like a really muted cover. So I actually used the leftover fabric I had sitting around my apartment, and I can actually show you. It's the leftover fabric I had from the because I made it over a year and a half ago. It was before I made my goal to make everything upcycled. This fuzzy one is actually upcycled, so just so you know. I'm trying to be completely someone told me he's being forced to sign off. Hilarious. So anyways, now I can't think because I got distracted by looking at a text message. But anyways, so yeah, I just wanted to be upfront about the fact that this material is leftover. So I am using stuff I have. I'm not buying new fabrics because my goal, like, I don't know, I made it like probably 4 to 6 months ago that I didn't want to buy any new fabric because you can kind of get obsessed with like fabric is so beautiful and interesting. Like if you go to a fabric store, it's so overwhelming because there's so many amazing options. But if you're a seamstress, you can definitely, it's so easy to get in the habit of just buying so many beautiful fabrics and then not getting around to using them. And you just become a hoarder of fabric. And also because I'm trying to like be more sustainable and stuff, it's just not good to like constantly by buying new fabric when we have clothes all the time that we can just reuse that fabric, or we can go thrifting and like you can get so many cool fabrics from vintage shops, by upcycling old clothes and stuff. So I just wanted to put that out there that yes, this isn't upcycled from like something that I got thrifting or was given or in my home, but it is leftover fabric from over a year ago, and I am making good use of it. So that is also why I had to use, instead of having solid loops, I cut them in 2 pieces, because definitely if you guys are going to make this yourself, just make one solid strip if you can. Like, you don't need to have 2 different strips. The only reason I do is because I was using leftover fabric. So that's the best I could do, is get strips that were this is the longest I could get a strip. So then I had to have a smaller strip with it. And I wanted it to be kind of uniform, instead of having like some that were, full and then some that were less. So, okay. Sorry about that. So instead of having like all different shaped ones, I decided to do the small one and the big one. So, hey, I actually have 3 people on here. I'm so surprised. Hey, Chrissy. So now I'm nervous because she does this all the time. Okay. So anyways, yeah, just in case you were actually interested in doing these yourself, the way that I came up with this pattern is I literally just traced this, but I left obviously like probably a little under an inch so that I could stretch it over the top and then have the side seams. It's honestly maybe not the best way to do it because they kind of slip off a little bit. I'm going to be really honest with you, but I'm fine with that because I'm just doing it for aesthetic reasons. So it's really hard to read the messages because my computer is so far away. But yeah, so yeah, this is just if you want something that looks really cute for your apartment or whatever. It's not like, you could probably look up a better pattern online. But this is just the way I am. I do everything somewhat half-assed when it's for myself. But as you can see, then I'm sewing that one to sell, and I put a lot more effort into it. So right now I'm just pinning the pieces together, and these are the side pieces. And then I will sew them. And actually, I talked so much about how you should watch a tutorial on how to use woolly thread, but I'm going to have to do it on here. So maybe you won't have to watch a tutorial because you'll literally see me use it. Okay, this is great. I think I'm missing one. Okay, well, we'll come back to this one because I'm missing one. It's probably just hanging over there, but I don't feel like going and getting it. Okay, so I want to sew all these, but in order to sew them, I need to refill my bobbin with this woolly thread. So I'm going to take out my current bobbin, which is a different type of thread. And so the trick when you are using this thread for stretch materials, because this furry fabric is super duper stretchy, is that you actually have to hand wind your bobbin, which can be a mix between somewhat therapeutic and somewhat really frustrating when you're like really in the swing of things and you're trying to like get something done quickly, and then your bobbin runs out and you have to sit there for a good 5 minutes just winding away. The reason you hand wind it, from what I was told, is because if you do it on the machine, it will be really tight, and then you might not get the full effect of the woolly thread, which is that it makes the fabric, or the give on the fabric, super duper stretchy. And I just got interrupted because my friend is actually going to call in, so that is totally fine. You can call. I don't know if she's actually watching, so actually, oh, she is. Okay, cool. I don't know if you'll be able to hear her, so hopefully you can. Hey. So were you actually watching the live stream?
Wait, what?
Were you actually watching the live stream?
Yeah, I was looking at it on well, I wasn't looking at it on my own profile. I was looking at it on Chrissy's profile.
Oh, okay.
She had it pulled up, and then I was sleeping, so.
Okay. So I have Maura Mitchell on FaceTime.
Hey guys, what's up?
They cannot see you. They just see that my phone is out.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
We're very new at this, and I'm going to be really honest with you, I don't care enough to like do some tech stuff where like she's like in the corner or something. No, we're not doing that. So she's on my phone.
Hey.
And
they could probably hear me, right? I don't know.
Well, I'm using my microphone. So say something and I'll see if it looks like they can hear you.
Wait, hello?
Yeah, it's still picking you up on my microphone.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Just don't mumble.
Oh, right. Okay. So I'll just yell across the phone.
Right. Just act like you're really old. It's fine.
Oh, right. What?
Not even old, just like middle-aged, maybe.
Oh my god. My mom is middle-aged. She could totally hear me.
No, it's not that they can't hear you. When my mom talks on the phone, she literally screams every single time. It doesn't. That's just, she thinks that you're like really far away, which you are, but
yeah, exactly.
That's not how phones work. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have had phones their whole life. I don't know why it's still an issue, but
I think it's really funny because Because like my dad will talk really loud 6 a.m. and wake the whole house up, and my grandma does the same thing. It's just kind of like this habit that's being passed down.
Well,
I have the card.
You don't do that, so is it being passed down?
What?
I said you don't do that, so I don't know if it's fully being passed down.
Oh, I guess that's right. I mean, but I did have to actively. I do have the card, Chris. Sorry, excuse me, that is Leo, and we're about to leave now to go get the computer. Well, possibly, I don't know.
Oh,
we're checking out a computer. Yeah, because I was like breaking down, and my mom was like, "Hey, like go check this out." I looked it up, blah blah blah, and oh my god, I forgot my list. But essentially, I'll write it down on the thing. Okay, so yeah, I have the key. We're taking Mom's car, right?
Okay.
So basically, what we're going to be doing is looking up this computer because I think they do refurbished Macs, so then I can get something for cheaper and then they can upgrade it and stuff.
Okay.
That's what the guy was saying. So that's what I'm doing because I bet even if I tried to go live, which I wouldn't because I'm not brave enough, you are a brave soul. I think that I would actually end up being like, I don't know,
never mind.
Crash. What?
You'd get on and be like, okay, never mind. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Bye, myself. There's no one on there, but you're like, bye, guys. I can do this.
That's so funny.
I'm done. But I'm gonna let you go since you're actually in the car and leaving.
Okay, wait, what are you sewing again?
I'm sewing my seat covers for my for my room. So we need to finalize this room. So we need to get this done.
For sure.
All right.
I'll like definitely be watching your live stream in the background there.
Okay, good. So send a message. I probably won't read it because it's across the room, but you can go ahead.
Okay.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, so sorry for that interruption, but that's kind of what you have to do when you're winding this woolly nylon because it's literally wasting your whole life away. So just to fill you in because that was really random and you have no idea what's going on. She's having a very common issue if you're someone that like works on video at all. Me and her both use Adobe Premiere and different like Adobe products for definitely the size of scissors you need to cut thread, obviously. What is it called? So we use all the Adobe software for different projects we're using, whether it's Adobe Premiere for video or Illustrator to edit illustrations or photos or documents, whatever the hell you're doing. Or it's Photoshop to edit or Lightroom, both to edit photos. So all of those softwares take up so much room in your computer. And if you have an older computer or in her case, like an Apple that just was not like, I don't know any words like how to properly describe a computer, but like divided properly, like the storage system in her Apple is just crazy. So it's super hard. She keeps running out of space whenever she tries to edit video, and that's what she does for her job. So she's going to possibly get a new computer right now. So that's super exciting because she almost like couldn't, well, not almost, she literally can't finish editing this series that she's working on right now, this video series. So hopefully that works out because that's horrible, and I can totally feel like what her pain of what she's going through, because anyone who has worked on video before has probably been there when you're just starting out and you don't have like the biggest equipment possible. It can be very, very frustrating. We actually are both a part of this new group called The Walking Produce, and we've been doing like YouTube video updates and Instagram updates where like we all own a different day of the week on Instagram, and we actually just started a podcast. And I personally had similar issues when I was trying to edit our podcast. We were originally going to have a podcast that involved video, but my computer just could not handle editing 2 hours of video footage. It was just basically a waste of life. So we gave up on the idea of video for our podcast for now, and are just going to have them be audio because none of us have actually not none of us. Some of the people in our group do have the ability to edit bigger files on their computer, but even I did try on one of their computers, which is a really good PC, like one that they built themselves, and it still was struggling. Like it was editing the video that was 2 hours, which obviously when you're making like a film and stuff, even if it's a short film, even if it's a YouTube video, you can have like over 2 hours of footage. The thing I think that was so frustrating about the podcast was that it was one video that was 2 hours. So that one file was so big. It was 25 gigabytes for that one video file. And like, even on his really good computer, that would open up fine. Everything would import in 1 second. When you went to edit anything on that 2 hour clip, it was so frustrating. So I totally feel what she's going through right now. Because I'm sure it's like even worse because, you know, this is something she can't alter, like how she's doing it. She has to edit, you know, it's like a online video series, so she has to edit it and she needs the video. So hopefully that works out for her. So right now I am just sewing the two together. I'm not doing any sort of fancy theme or anything because this is just going underneath the seat of the chair. And also this fabric, like I said, this sweater that this fabric is made from, this fabric is the fabric that I'm using here. This, since I've sewn with this before, and I have literally used this sweater so much, it's basically dead now because I just feel like I've overworn it to the max. But that, since I've already like worn that like to death, it has never like frayed or anything like that. So I know that I can do just like a basic seam and nothing bad is going to happen as far as like fraying and stuff like that. I don't even really need to finish these edges because they're knit and they can handle it. So we're not going to waste our time doing like I was for this, doing French seams and stuff like that. No, not necessary. Yeah. But what I was going to say is I think these do have probably French seams because I'm a French seam addict. Yeah, they, no, wait, do they? I can't tell, honestly. No, I don't think they do. I think those, honestly, I made that shirt in like 30 minutes, like literally just cut a square, put sleeves on it from a, you know, sleeve pattern, altered them slightly, and like so quickly. So yeah, I didn't do French seams or anything on that. And it has lasted me so long. I've washed it so many times. And well, not that it's lasted me so long because it's only like maybe a year old, but I have worn it so many times. Look at my Instagram, like half of the photos are in that sweater. Yeah. Well, this is kind of annoying because I'm literally I like to do it all together, and I'm gonna have like one that doesn't have this if I don't find, looking on the floor, if I don't find the like other one, then I'm gonna have one seat cover that's just not at the same step, and that's gonna be annoying. So I'm just cutting off like the super fuzzy ends of this because it's just gonna be a hassle to like sew the seam if I can't tell where the thing ends. Okay, I had everything literally hanging on this hanger. And wait. This is an extra one. This one doesn't matter. Okay, cool. So let me make sure these are all the right length and I didn't sew the wrong thing. These are the same length. This is the same length. Okay, cool. So that doesn't matter. Okay. Because I'm just making 3 right now and then I'll end up with a set of 4. That is perfect. Okay. So now what I have to do is I'm going to fold these in half. So so both sides are fuzzy and the raw part is on the inside. And then I'm going to pin it all the way around one of these things. So I feel like these videos are like called Sew With Me, but then I literally barely sew in them at all. I'm just like pinning and stuff. But that's probably for the best because, you know, when you're sewing, like, can't hear what I'm saying. And I'm sure you're very interested in what I'm saying. Let's see. So also, yeah, I'm gonna, okay, so actually, yeah, I also have these green, so instead of like putting elastic in them, because I was just trying to work with what I had and I didn't want to buy anything for this project. The one that I already made just has a string inside, and then I pulled the seat cover around and tied it like, what is it called? I gathered, like, pulled both strings, kind of like a drawstring in pants, and tied like a bow or whatever. And that is how I got it to like hold tight around the bottom of the stool. Again, does not hold perfectly tight. I am not the person to like look to for perfection when it comes to like DIY projects at home, because I'm just gonna half-ass this shit because it's for myself. So if you want a really quick, easy way to make seat covers, do what I do. But if you want a better, more, I don't know, like durable way of doing it, probably make some adjustments or Google someone who cares more. But yeah, so what I'm doing right now is I'm going to like put this thread in this folded fabric like a little hot dog, and then I'm going to close it like it's a bun. And then I'm going to pin it. Yeah, I'm just going to pin it all the way around like I was doing before. And so then, yeah, you'll just, at the end, you just want to make sure as you go, be like kind of slow with it and careful, and like use your fingers to make sure you feel the thread at the bottom roll of the fabric, because you don't want to sew over the thread. Because if you sew over the thread, what's going to happen is you are not going to be able to drawstring it at the end. It's going to get caught wherever you sew over it. So I'm going to move this over here and I'm going to slowly put it around. And I am attached, so I have it like rolled like a hot dog, and then I have the fuzzy side, two fuzzy sides because both sides are fuzzy. That does not help you at all. I have the open part of it right here, and I am attaching it this way. Actually, both sides are fuzzy, so I don't think this matters what I'm telling you. But my intention is I have this part on this side and not on this side, because then I'm gonna roll it back after and it's gonna end up like this. So the raw edge will be on the inside. You wanna make sure that when you have it sewed together like this and you pull it back, that you don't see the seam. If I did it the reverse way, you would see the thread on the top. If you understand nothing I'm saying, I'm sorry, because I'm horrible at explaining things. Okay, it's so fuzzy I can't even tell, like, what I'm doing. I need some pins. Hey, Mora. So she's watching. The one that was just on the phone is now watching. Welcome. I really don't know why anyone would be watching this. To me, I feel like I would be bored, and I absolutely love YouTube, but I feel like I would never watch this. Literally, when I'm doing this right now, like pinching all these pieces together, I just can think of nothing else but the fact, like from there, you are not going to get this impression, I feel like. But when you're up close with this fabric, like all I can think of is this is like a dog. It just looks like the fur of like one of those little tiny dogs, is all I can think of. So hopefully a dog did not die for the making of these stools. I'm just saying. I'm so funny. I think these with me's are gonna be so hilarious because I feel like I'm gonna start projects, but I'm like never gonna finish them on here because I've already been doing this for like 41 minutes. Obviously, this is like, am I gonna even get one of these done in the next 20 minutes? We will see. I doubt it. I would probably recommend, have not done this because I've already started this whole entire process of pinning it or whatever, but I almost feel like I should have trimmed like the way that I was trimming, like after I like sewed it. I feel like I should have trimmed the edges like before I started pinning it because it's like really fuzzy and it's like hard to tell where like the fabric part of it actually is and like what is just fur. Uh, so I feel like when I sew it, I might accidentally like not sew bits of it because there's so much fur. So I do plan on doing one of, oh my gosh, I have 4 people now. Hey, I'm so shocked. Like, look at me. I actually have 4 people watching this. That is crazy to me. Um, but anyways, I might be traveling tomorrow. I was supposed to go to Austin, and I would still do this if I went to Austin because I was gonna get there super early in the morning, and so I'd have all day. Um, I don't know what I would be sewing, but I'd have to bring something. Another one of the members of Walking Produce is watching. So the way I said like winding the woolly nylon can be like kind of therapeutic at times because it's like, I don't know, so slow and tedious. This is not that. This feels like it's going to drive me to therapy because like I said, it's so fuzzy. You cannot tell when like the fabric is actually meeting other fabric or it's just fuzz. It is frustrating. It is very frustrating. And then on top of it, you're trying to make sure you don't get the green thread like into the pinned part, and also it just doesn't seem even. It seems very frustrating. I'm very annoyed with it already, but I'm determined to do these because look at how cute my room is. Like, they need this for a cover. And also, like, I stained, I mentioned it in my last live stream, but the shelf that you're sitting on right now on my laptop, or my laptop is sitting on, which is where I'm filming from, is stained gray, which I did last week. And I'm very sloppy. Like, you can tell, like, from me literally telling you, like, my d.i.y is not a good idea. Like, don't do it. I like want to do things, and I want to do them like very intricately. Like, I have a very specific aesthetic in mind. But then I'm also sloppy and lazy in the process of doing it. So when I stained everything, that was honestly so much harder than I thought it would be. I just have 2 rows of shelves, but they're big enough. They have 4 layers of shelves, and they're big enough that they actually surround 2 out of the 4 sides of my bed. So the short side of my bed and the long side of my bed, on one side. So it's a good amount of shelves, but like it's not that big of a deal. Like, to paint them in comparison to, like, painting an entire room or something. And I was doing staining, which I thought would be so much easier than actually painting, because you can kind of like half-ass it a little bit. Like, it doesn't all have to be like the same color. Like, there can be differences. It doesn't really matter. I just thought it was going to be so easy, and like I could just do it all in one go. And whatever. No. My brother had warned me of this, and I just disregarded because we live together, and he also has the same shelves to block off his bed, because we live in New York, and we live in a 1-bedroom apartment. It is huge. Like, this is my bedroom, and you're only seeing a quarter of it. So my bedroom is really big, but I wanted it to be like a sewing studio and then a bedroom. So that's why I have the shelves blocking off my bed and the other half of my room, so that there's like a distinct separation. And the plan is eventually that the shelves will have walls, and then you won't even see that it's like a bedroom. And we have the same thing happening in the living room for my brother's bedroom. So anyways, he has to stain his shelves as well, and his almost should be a priority because he's in the living room. And even though like I pretty much don't really go in there, it's basically his space. It is a tap, like the kitchen is in there, and so is our projector. So if we have people over and we want to watch a movie or something, we do have to be in there. So yes, anyways, so his should be a priority because we we want to block off his like sleeping space from like the rest of the living space of the house or whatever. But he was very concerned about doing the staining because I don't actually like live here full time lately because of this pandemic. I have been home a lot more, also because I was on vacation and I had people visiting me right before everything got crazy. Oh, okay. Bye, Maura. She was letting me know that she's leaving so that she can go get her computer. Good luck. Hopefully everything works out. I really hope you get one and you're able to be successful from now on. But back to me and my story. What is it called? So his room should have been the priority, but he was very concerned about the smell of the stain because I don't actually spend a lot of time in this apartment. My boyfriend doesn't live in New York, and also I travel for a living. So I spend a lot of time not here. And so that's the reason that I ended up staining mine first, is just because I'm barely here. So I was home, and my room is also separate from, okay, something went terribly wrong. Not terribly, but I was talking so much I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't like seeing how long this was. So now we have it completely pinned beautifully, but we're like this much not closing. And I know this does fit because I've already made one of these with the exact same measurements. So it's just because I wasn't like stretching the strip at all as I was putting it on. So let's backtrack a tiny bit. I'm not going to pull the whole thing out. That's insane. I'm just going to pull like a little bit out and stretch it as I put it on. So anyways, and I'm going to do it on both sides so it's like even. But anyways, so yeah, so I was home and we figured if I stain them, then we can close my door, we can open the windows, and if it smells really bad, it won't be a big deal. One, again, lazy. I didn't look up any instructions on how to stain something. I just remembered like once in tech class, which is if you're unaware, because I don't know how it is like in other places, but technology class when I was in middle school was actually like wood shop. And I don't know why it has that name, but can you please not interrupt my live stream anymore? Okay. So anyways, okay, so this is gonna be really frustrating because I did mute my phone, but I honestly, again, I'm not like that tech savvy, or maybe I just don't care enough to be tech savvy, but like I don't know how to mute the noise of iMessage like on my computer. So I have this issue all the time and I just have to mute my computer. Wait, I guess I can do that. Yeah, I can do that right now. But maybe like let me know if you actually know how to do that, because I'm just the laziest person. So anyways, I should probably stop saying that. I'm just gonna manifest like more laziness. Anyway, so as far as the staining goes, that's why that I did mine first. And after not like looking anything up and just attempting it, literally just taking a rag, dipping it in the stain, and then putting it on the wood. I did think about the fact that I sanded it in technology class. And also I asked my dad if he thought I should sand it. And he was like, maybe not, because it's like the wood is not treated or anything on our shelves. Like they were bought from IKEA, and it's like the cheapest type of shelving and stuff that you can buy from IKEA. So it's like completely completely untreated wood. So he was like, I don't think you'll have to, just because it's completely untreated, but maybe like do a sample or something. Obviously, I'm not doing that. I just started slathering stain on, not knowing anything about how you're supposed to stain things, not really thinking about it. Honestly, since I've done it, I have yet to even look up the proper thing. I told my brother to definitely research before he does his, because I just didn't do it right, because I looked up after. I looked up at some point something, and it said that you're supposed to actually remove that. So you put the stain on, and the longer you leave the stain on, like the darker it's going to be. But you're supposed to put it on and then wipe it off. I don't know how this is possible. And like, if any of you know anything about what I'm talking about, please enlighten me, because I don't know how this is possible that you're supposed to be able to wipe it off. because I tried this, but I was already like, I don't know, 1/3 of the way through my shelves. So obviously I couldn't like change drastically how I was doing them because I want them to be the same color at that point. But I tried wiping off the stain, and that like is impossible. It's like on there like paint, and it gets really tacky and stuff, like if you leave it on there for a second and then you try to wipe it off. But I don't know if I'm like missing a key element there. So they're already done, so I'm not really concerned about it. But also, we still have to stain the shelves in our living room area. So I should be more concerned because these shelves in my room were supposed to be like a whitish gray color, like a really washed, beachy look. They're straight gray. Like I literally just painted them gray because I did not wipe the stain off in any way. So literally, I've just painted them gray, but with stain. So I have no idea what happened there. And we're trying to stain the ones in the living room like a walnut color. So we don't want to paint them a walnut color. We want it to look like a stain, like the rest of our furniture that is walnut color. So that's like a little bit more important to do correctly. So that I don't have that gap again, what I did was I actually just went to like the where it's opening and started pinning from there. And now I'm going kind of backtracking so that it like is actually really nicely evenly spread out and there's no bubbling. So I don't know if it's because like I'm talking so much or what, but I've already been live streaming for almost an hour. And I feel like I've done nothing, but I guess I've done something. I've pinned one and I've sewed them, like I've sewed for 2 seconds. I guess it did take a really long time to do the woolly nylon. I don't know. It seems weird that it's taking this long, but that's just me. I kind of just ramble and waste time away by slowly doing everything, but it's fine. It's fine. My goal right now is honestly just to sew anything every single day in order to get in the habit of sewing more. So it's fine. And if today is anything like yesterday I sewed for like an extra 2 or 3 hours like after I live streamed. So that was pretty positive. I am having to backtrack quite a bit to like make sure that it's not in a bubble. But that's okay because like honestly, that's just the best way to do it. This issue the next time because I'll remember that like I sewed that other stool so long ago, so I completely forgot that I had that like give that I needed to leave some room for give. So spacing it out is way smarter way to do it, and it will be way faster. So it takes a long time to pin these, but then that's actually the longest part of this process is the pinning because you just want it to be perfect. I honestly I think for the last one that the first cover that I made, I hand stitched like a really loose, sloppy base stitch before I put it in the sewing machine because this fabric is it's so stretchy and it's slippery and you cannot really see where you're going because it's so fuzzy. So I base stitched it so that I could take all the pins out. And when you can take the pins out, you can just see your project a lot clearer and you're less likely to make a mistake. And also, when you remove pins while you're sewing, the fabric starts to slip out from underneath you. So when you baste it, that's a stitch. So your fabric is not going anywhere. And what you do with that is you do like a really sloppy stitch, and usually it's best if you do it in like a really contrasting thread. So for this, like for example, if I did it in like this color thread on this white fabric, that would be great because you would easily be able to see it after you sew the whole stitch together, or sew the whole stitch together. After you sew the two pieces together with like a real stitch in the sewing machine, you can easily see this, and just it takes like two tacks of using the seam ripper, like just ripping out a couple seams, you can pull the whole thing out, and it's super easy. And it's definitely worth it. Like it might take you an extra 10 to 20 minutes to max 20 minutes. It honestly shouldn't take you that long, but max 20 minutes to do like a basting stitch on something. And then it will save you potentially hours, because if you keep slipping when you're trying to sew it while removing pins, it can add so much time to the process, because you might have to keep going back, taking out a couple stitches, re-sewing that part. You'll find another place where you slipped, and then you'll have to go back again. So it's definitely worth the extra time. It's a time saver in the end. So that's probably what I'm going to do before I put it in the machine, is like a quick baste. But before I do that, wait, what's happening here? Something is weird. Oh, it's just underneath. Okay, cool. So I actually did get it to work. Now they are both the two threads. You can't see them. The two threads are right here, and it is completely covered like that. And then, like I said, this rolls back when it's done, and the seam will be inside. So it will be perfect. So we're going to leave that one aside. And I just really want to show you quickly. I am going to end this stream in just a few minutes, because we've already been live for an hour. So that's crazy. But I just really quickly wanted to go ahead and show you how you can actually do this way faster and more efficiently by starting with both of them, tacking both of these parts first. So let me find another green thread. Okay, cool. Okay, I will be so happy, honestly, if I live stream tomorrow and I already have these cushions made. You may not see them because I may not be in New York tomorrow, but one, I hope I am. I hope somehow I don't end up flying. But either way, I will let you know if I do finish them, even if I'm not in New York. If I'm not in New York and I don't finish them, I won't bring them with me to sew in my hotel room, because I don't have a good enough travel machine to be able to sew knits while traveling. But I would love to show my travel machine. I love to brag about it. So I will definitely do that if I'm traveling. But I won't do it now because I literally have to get up. So no. So look forward to that. If I'm traveling, I'll show you. It's fantastic. I'm trying to focus a little bit more now, just because I want to end this stream, but I also want to show you this. So like show how much faster it is. It literally takes me like making a mistake in order to be like, oh yeah, I knew the proper answer to that. Because literally yesterday I was thinking like, when I was sewing this blouse, when I was about to attach the collar to the neckline for real, I was planning on doing a French seam, but I was thinking I feel like a French seam isn't the best option. And I just, in the moment, I really couldn't think like what would be the better option for the neckline. Of course, I didn't take the time to like look at items or look it up. I just was like thinking in my head, like, I don't know if I want to do a French seam, because if I do a French seam, what happens with a French seam is they're usually this, like, the side seam being French is perfect, or like a princess seam, perfect. But it sticks out, like just like any side seam, it sticks out a little bit, which is why that's the perfect seam to do French, because it doesn't matter if it like sticks out a little bit. That's what almost all side seams do. But in the neckline, you generally don't want something protruding towards your neck. Like that could be somewhat irritating. And like especially the cut of this neckline, it's not right up to your neck. It's like a little bit further back on your back. It's laying on your back, not on your neck. So that can actually be like a little bit irritating to sensitive people. Not to me, because I find people that are really sensitive about their clothes annoying. But what is it called? A lot of people are sensitive about things like that, and they need, there needs to be consideration when you're actually making clothes for other people. So yeah, I did think about that. But I just decided what I'm going to do is, since I did French seams, because I definitely wanted a seam that was going to be, I'm just pulling it. So, since I started pinning there, then I had like the string was really long. So I had to pull it so that it was not too long. So anyways, so what I'm doing, since the French seam naturally goes like this, I ironed it flat so that it is flush with the garment, and then I'm going to tack it. Just like, these are like really flush with the garment because they're hand sewed on. Just do like that seam, the invisible, I forget what it's called, rolled hem. I don't need to roll it because it's already like covered, like the raw edge is already covered by the French seam, but I just need to tack it down, and I'll do it invisibly. So that's my plan. But anyways, the whole point of that really long, stupid ramble was that after I sewed the French seams and was trimming so when you do the first part of a French seam, you have to trim it short, and then you flip the fabric, or like flip the garment inside out, and then you sew it one more time. When I was doing that, in the process of trimming it, I remembered about a Hong Kong bound seam, which is done slightly differently, and was so disappointed that I hadn't thought of that like 2 minutes before, because that would have been the ideal seam to do for a neckline. And it is such a beautiful seam, and it's a little more work than most seams, just like a French seam is. So it's a little more expensive to do. But if you're a seamstress, it's such a gorgeous seam, and I love it. And I never do it because honestly, I just don't think of it. And also, it's like one of those very specific seams. Like you need it. You only need it for like a neckline, like for very specific things. Or like a really beautifully done jacket could have all Hong Kong bound seams. Oh God. But again, like half of you probably have no idea what I'm saying, but I guess I'm like really nerdy seamstress here. But yeah, so the bottom line is I just thought of it too late. So I had already done the French seam, but I wrote a note and put it on the wall. So now anytime I'm working on a neckline, I put, if you're working on a neckline, consider Hong Kong bound, because I don't want to forget. I really love those seams and I never do them. So yeah, there was really no point to that, but that my memory is delayed, I guess. Or that maybe I just moved too quickly. Like I could have taken a moment. I could have looked at some garment references. I could have thought about it, but I was just trying to get it done. And I already had in my mind that French seam was good enough. So now the only thing with like doing this ahead of time, I should have like really I should have laid out the green to make sure I like had the perfect amount stretched out already, because now I have to keep like pulling it back and forth a little bit to make sure it like all fits. I keep having to pull it because it's like sticking out in places, the green thread, and then I have to make sure, you know, it's not too long and sticking out. Okay, I really do want to like finish up this live stream. So this one, green thread is killing me. So it is almost all pinned together. I just need to tack this place right here, and then I can show you. Okay. So that was so much quicker and easier to do when you start with both ends, like where they're supposed to end up, and then you work from there. And kind of how I did it, rather than like just putting these pins here and then going all the way around, I would probably run into the same issue where I had like a big bunch in one spot if I did that. I put these two pieces pinned down, and then I pinned one here. I pinned one down here and one over here, and then went into this area, pinned these down, went over here, pinned these down, went over here, pinned these down. So I already had it kind of like already dispersed ahead of time, and that's how you pin something properly. If you're, for any reason, don't know the bare minimums about how to start creating a garment, that's it. But thank you guys so much for watching, and you know, sitting through this, sewing with me, kind of supporting my goal of actually sewing every single day so that I can start being more productive. Not that I'm not productive, because I am working on projects all the time, but it just seems like I'm working on every other type of project than actually sewing projects, which is why I came up with this goal of trying to sew every single day, because you know, working on people's videos, helping them edit or direct, or doing the podcast, or doing walking produce, where, you know, we're working as a group to kind of like all reach out and meet our goals and help each other meet our goals. All those things are great. But if I'm not doing like the core thing, which is actually producing products, then what is the point of everything else? Because this is what I want to do. I want to make things. These obviously are just for myself, for my home, but it is this a step in the right direction that I am actually sewing. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I will be, or not hopefully, I definitely plan on being back tomorrow. Worst case scenario, if I end up flying the entire day and never have time to live stream, I will definitely drop the video of the completion of this blouse, or one other video that I want to put out. So I will do that, or I'll be here live streaming. And the next day, same thing, because if I do end up flying, I will fly for 3 days. So thank you so much. I don't know what that means. I feel you on what? So anyways, thank you. My computer is very far away from me, so I have to walk way up here. But thank you for watching, and check back tomorrow to see if I'm here. Oh, I forgot the most important thing. Let me come back so you can actually see me and I'm not screaming at you. But the most important thing is the reason I started doing the 60-day live stream was because my friend Maura Mitchell, the one that called in earlier in the video, is doing 60 days of posting on YouTube. And she's doing completely different videos from me. She is not doing live streams. She's doing really artistic, beautifully done videos, and also vlog style videos, and all different types of videos. Actually, she has coming up like a lot of sit down videos as well. She might even be posting some of her music videos. I don't know. But she's going to be posting a video on YouTube every day for the next 60 days. And that's just kind of to kickstart her focus and make sure that she's really producing product for herself, and she's trying to grow and all of those things, which I'm also trying to do, which is why I thought it was such a great idea and I wanted to follow behind her. So she started doing this 60-day challenge one day before me. So she's on day 3 today and I am on day 2. So I am going to link her channel in the description, and I'm going to actually post her video from yesterday in my description. So please go check it out. I already watched her video from yesterday, which was a vlog. And it was very cute. It's very short, so it's definitely worth giving a try. And yeah, so that is the reason that I'm posting every day. And yeah, basically just go check her out. So I will post that all in the description. Her channel name is Maura Mitchell. Bye, guys.